You know the feeling. Your pants suddenly feel 2 sizes too small, your stomach is tight, and you're stuck with that gassy, uncomfortable pressure that just won't quit. We've all been there. It's frustrating, it's uncomfortable, and it can completely ruin your day and your confidence. But what if that constant battle with the bloat wasn't so random? What if the secret to feeling amazing was hiding in plain sight, right there on your plate? For so many of us, bloating feels like an unavoidable part of life. We eat a meal, even a healthy one, and boom, the bloat arrives like an unwanted guest who overstays their welcome. But it doesn't have to be this way. Your body is constantly sending you signals, and bloating is a big one. It's trying to tell you that something you ate just didn't agree with your unique digestive system. In this video, we're putting on our detective hats. We're counting down the top 10 foods that are the most common culprits behind bloating. But we're not just going to list them and leave you hanging. For each one, we'll break down the science in a super simple way, explaining why it causes issues. We'll talk about who's most likely to be affected, and most importantly, we'll give you simple, delicious swaps so you can build a plate that leaves you feeling energized and light, not puffy and miserable. It's time to take back control of your digestive comfort and finally get that flatter, happier stomach you deserve. If that sounds good, and you're ready to say goodbye to bloating for good, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe for more simple, life-changing health tips just like this. Let's get into it. Number 10, salty foods. Kicking off our list at number 10 isn't a single food, but an ingredient that lurks in almost everything: salt. You probably connect salt with high blood pressure, but it's also a major reason for a specific kind of bloat: water retention. When you eat a high-sodium meal, your body's delicate fluid balance gets thrown completely out of whack. Your body wants to maintain a very specific concentration of sodium in your bloodstream, so when you flood it with salt, it panics and holds on to every drop of water it can to dilute it. This extra water has to go somewhere, and it often settles in your tissues, leading to that puffy, swollen feeling not just in your belly, but in your hands, feet, and face too. The obvious offenders are things like chips and salted pretzels. But the real trouble comes from hidden sodium. Processed and packaged foods are by far the biggest source. That canned soup you thought was a healthy lunch? It can pack over half of your daily recommended sodium in one serving. The same goes for frozen dinners, cured meats like bacon, restaurant meals, and even innocent-looking condiments like soy sauce and ketchup. Even many breads are surprisingly high in sodium. So, how do you fight back against the salt-induced puff? The best thing you can do is cook more at home. This gives you total control over the salt shaker. Instead of reaching for salt, get creative with herbs and spices. Basil, oregano, cumin, and paprika can make a dish incredible without any extra sodium. When you do buy packaged foods, you've got to become a label detective. Look for low sodium or no salt added. And finally, eat more potassium-rich foods. Potassium works with sodium to regulate your body's fluids. Things like bananas, avocados, sweet potatoes, and spinach can actually help your body flush out that excess sodium and the water it's holding onto. Number 9, artificial sweeteners, sugar alcohols. Coming in hot at number 9 are the so-called diet-friendly sweeteners, specifically a group called sugar alcohols. Their names usually end in OL, so look for sorbitol, mannitol, and xylitol on ingredient lists. You'll find them in anything labeled sugar-free or low-carb, like diet sodas, sugar-free gum, protein bars, and certain sweets. The appeal is clear. You get the sweetness with fewer calories and less of a blood sugar spike. But for a lot of people, this comes at a price. Here's the simple science. Your body can't fully absorb these sugar alcohols, so they travel down to your large intestine mostly intact. Once there, your gut bacteria see them as an all-you-can-eat buffet. As the bacteria ferment these sweeteners, they produce a ton of gas. At the same time, the sugar alcohols draw water into your colon. That combination of extra gas and extra water is the perfect storm for bloating, cramping, and discomfort. If you've noticed that chewing sugar-free gum all day leaves you feeling like a balloon, or that diet ice cream causes chaos in your stomach, sugar alcohols could be your trigger. Everyone's sensitivity is different. Some people are fine with a little, while others react to even the smallest amount. The fix here is to be a vigilant label reader. If something says sugar-free, flip it over and scan for anything ending in OL. If you're sensitive, you might want to try natural, non-caloric sweeteners like stevia or monk fruit, which most people tolerate better. Or even better, retrain your taste buds to enjoy the natural sweetness in whole fruits, which come with bonus fiber and nutrients. Number 8, apples and pears. This one might surprise you. We're always told to eat more fruit, and it's true, apples and pears are nutritional powerhouses. But they make our list at number 8 because they can be a double-edged sword for bloating, thanks to two things: fructose and fiber. First up is fructose, a simple sugar in fruit. Some people have what's called fructose malabsorption, which is a lot like lactose intolerance. It just means the cells in their small intestine can't efficiently absorb fructose. When they eat a high fructose fruit like an apple or a pear, that unabsorbed sugar travels to the large intestine where, you guessed it, gut bacteria ferment it and produce gas. The second factor is their high fiber content. An apple, especially with the skin on, is a great source of soluble fiber. But while fiber is essential, a sudden large dose can be a shock to your system, and that can also lead to more gas as it ferments. So, if you love apples and pears but they don't seem to love you back, what can you do? You don't have to banish them forever. Cooking the fruit can be a game changer, as it helps break down the tough fibers, making them much easier to digest. A baked apple with cinnamon can be a really soothing, bloat-friendly treat. Portion size is also huge. Instead of a whole apple, try half. You can also go for fruits lower in these fermentable carbs like bananas, blueberries, strawberries, and oranges. They're all delicious, nutrient-dense, and generally much easier on the gut. Number 7, carbonated drinks. At number 7, we have a culprit that's pretty obvious but often gets a pass. Anything with bubbles. We're talking soda, sparkling water, beer, and energy drinks. The reason they cause bloating is simple, and it hits you in two ways. First, when you drink a carbonated beverage, you are literally swallowing gas. Those bubbles are carbon dioxide gas that was forced into the liquid. As you drink, that gas is released into your digestive system. You might burp some of it up, but a lot of it can travel down into your stomach and intestines, taking up space and making you feel full and pressured from the inside out. You're basically inflating your own stomach. But there's often a second problem, especially with sodas and energy drinks. Regular sodas are loaded with sugar or high fructose corn syrup, which feeds the gas-producing bacteria in your gut. And diet sodas, as we just covered, are usually sweetened with artificial sweeteners that cause even more fermentation and bloating. So with a diet soda, you get the double whammy: the physical bloat from the bubbles and the fermentation bloat from the sweeteners. The swap here is easy. Drink more still beverages. Plain water is always your best bet. If you find water boring, infuse it with slices of lemon, cucumber, or berries. Herbal teas are another fantastic option. Peppermint and ginger tea are famous for their gut-soothing properties and can actually help reduce bloating. If you just have to have that fizz, try limiting yourself to a small glass and see how you feel. Hey, just jumping in for a second. If you're finding this useful and you've already had a few aha moments, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button below. We're about to get into the absolute biggest offenders on our list, and you won't want to miss the solutions we have coming up. Subscribing is the best way to make sure you never miss out on tips that can help you feel incredible. Okay, let's get back to it. Number 6, onions and garlic. All right, moving into the top half of our list. At number 6, we have the flavor foundation of pretty much every delicious dish in the world: onions and garlic. This one can be really frustrating because not only are they delicious, they're also great for you. But for those of us with sensitive guts, They are a major source of a specific type of fermentable carb called fructans. Here's the deal. Humans actually lack the enzyme needed to break down these fructans in the small intestine. So, just like the other culprits we've talked about, they travel down to the large intestine undigested. Once there, your gut bacteria throw a party and ferment them like crazy. This fermentation produces a lot of gas, which can cause painful bloating and cramping, especially for people with IBS. What makes this so tricky is that onion and garlic are in everything. Sauces, soups, marinades, spice blends, you name it. You could be carefully avoiding other trigger foods and still get bloated from the garlic powder in your steak seasoning. Cooking them helps a little, but for someone who's really sensitive, it might not be enough. So what's the solution if these flavor bombs are your enemy? You don't have to eat bland food for the rest of your life. Here's a game-changing kitchen hack. Fructans are water-soluble, but not oil-soluble. This means you can get the flavor without the bloat. Gently sauté a whole garlic clove or a big chunk of onion in oil for a few minutes. This infuses the oil with all that amazing flavor. Then, and this is the key step, remove the actual pieces before you add anything else. The flavor stays in the oil, but the fructans don't. You can also buy garlic or onion-infused oils. For a fresh oniony taste, try using the green tops of scallions or chives, which are low in fructans. Number 5, cruciferous vegetables. Coming in at number 5 is a family of vegetables that are the darlings of the health world. Cruciferous veggies. We're talking broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and kale. And it can feel like a total betrayal when these superfoods, packed with vitamins and cancer-fighting compounds, leave you feeling like an overinflated balloon. The problem with these veggies is twofold. First, they are incredibly high in fiber, and while fiber is fantastic, a ton of it at once can lead to gas as it's broken down by bacteria. The second, more specific reason is a complex sugar called raffinose. We humans don't have the enzyme needed to properly digest raffinose, so it makes its way to the large intestine undigested, where bacteria ferment it, producing a lot of gas. On top of that, these veggies contain sulfur compounds, which is why they can sometimes lead to, well, particularly fragrant gas. Now, please do not take this as your cue to banish broccoli from your life. The health benefits are just too good to ignore. The key isn't elimination. It's smart preparation and moderation. Cooking these vegetables is a non-negotiable step if you're sensitive. Steaming or roasting helps break down those tough fibers and makes them much gentler on your gut. Also, chew them really, really well. Digestion starts in the mouth, so the more work you do with your teeth, the less your gut has to do. And start with small portions. Instead of a huge bowl of roasted broccoli, have just a few florets as a side dish and see how you do. Let your gut adapt over time. Number 4, beans and legumes. I'm sure this one isn't a shocker. At number 4, we have the food group most famous for its musical qualities. Beans and legumes. This includes lentils, chickpeas, kidney beans, black beans, all of them. They are an amazing source of plant-based protein and fiber, but their gassy reputation is well-earned. The main reason beans cause bloating is their high content of complex sugars called oligosaccharides. Just like with cruciferous veggies, our bodies don't make the enzyme needed to break these down. So they arrive in the large intestine fully intact, providing a feast for our gut bacteria. That fermentation process is what creates a significant amount of gas, leading to that classic post-bean bloat. But here's the good news. You can dramatically cut down on the bloating potential of beans with the right prep. The trick is to break down those sugars before they even get to you. The best way is soaking. Before you cook dry beans, soak them in water overnight. Then, and this is crucial, dump the soaking water and rinse the beans well before cooking them in fresh water. A lot of the gas producers will have leached out into that water. Canned beans are also a good option, as the canning process helps break them down. Just make sure to rinse them really well in a colander to wash away excess starch and salt. Finally, if you eat beans regularly, your body can adapt. Studies show that after a few weeks of consistent intake, gassy symptoms often decrease as your gut microbiome adjusts. So start small and stick with it. Number 3, wheat, barley, and rye. Cracking our top 3, we have a trio of grains that make up so many of our favorite foods: wheat, barley, and rye. They're in bread, pasta, cereals, and crackers. For a huge number of people, these grains can cause major digestive issues, but the reason why is often misunderstood. Most people immediately think gluten is the problem, and for some, it is. For people with celiac disease, gluten triggers an autoimmune response that damages the small intestine and causes severe bloating. There's also non-celiac gluten sensitivity, where people get symptoms like bloating from gluten without having celiac disease. However, a growing pile of research suggests that for many people, especially those with IBS who get bloated from bread or pasta, the real culprit might not be the gluten at all. It might be those same fructans we talked about with onions and garlic. Wheat, barley, and rye are packed with them. Because these grains have both gluten and fructans, it's easy to blame the wrong thing. You might cut out wheat, feel better, and assume you have a gluten issue when your body was actually reacting to the fermentable carb, the fructan, not the protein, the gluten. This is a really important distinction because a lot of gluten-free products can still cause bloating. If you think these grains are a problem for you, try swapping them out. Thankfully, there are tons of amazing alternatives. Rice, quinoa, buckwheat, corn, and certified gluten-free oats are all fantastic choices. Experiment with rice noodles, quinoa salads, and breads made from these other flours and see how you feel. Number 2, dairy products. Our runner-up for the most bloating food, at number 2, is dairy. This means milk, soft cheeses, ice cream, and creamy sauces. The reason dairy is such a common trigger boils down to one sugar: lactose. To digest lactose, our small intestine needs to make an enzyme called lactase. Lactase breaks lactose down into simpler sugars that we can easily absorb. Here's the catch: pretty much all human babies make plenty of lactase. But for about 65% of the world's population, lactase production drops off dramatically after infancy. This is called lactose intolerance. When someone with lactose intolerance has dairy, the undigested lactose travels to the colon. Their gut bacteria ferment it, creating gas. That fermentation, plus the fact that lactose draws water into the bowel, leads to the classic symptoms of bloating, gas, cramps, and diarrhea, usually within a couple of hours. But not all dairy is created equal. The process of fermenting and aging dramatically reduces the lactose in a product. That's why many people who are lactose intolerant can still handle yogurt, which has live bacteria that help break down lactose, or hard, aged cheeses like cheddar, Parmesan, and Swiss, which have very little lactose left. Softer, fresher cheeses like cottage cheese are much higher in lactose. The swaps here are everywhere these days. The market for dairy-free alternatives has exploded. You can find lactose-free milk, where the lactase enzyme has already been added for you. Plant-based milks from almonds, oats, or soy are also great, and you can find amazing dairy-free yogurts, ice creams, and cheeses to satisfy any craving. Number 1, processed foods, the perfect storm. And here we are at the number 1 spot. You might be expecting a single food, but the biggest bloating culprit of all isn't one thing, it's a category. The number 1 cause of bloating is the modern, ultra-processed meal. Think about it: a frozen pizza, a fast food burger with fries and a soda, a pre-packaged microwave dinner. These meals are a perfect storm for bloating because they combine multiple offenders from our list into one gut-wrenching package. Let's break down that frozen pizza. The crust is refined wheat, number 3. The sauce is loaded with hidden sugar and a shocking amount of salt, number 10. The cheese on top is dairy, number 2. And the processed pepperoni is packed with even more salt and preservatives. Or that burger combo meal. The bun is wheat, number 3. The soda is a double whammy of carbonation, number 7, and either high fructose corn syrup or artificial sweeteners, number 9. The fries are fried in unhealthy fats that slow down digestion and are buried in salt, number 10. You're hitting 3, 4, even 5 of our top bloating triggers in a single meal. These foods are engineered to be irresistible, but they're stripped of natural fiber and enzymes and loaded with artificial additives, unhealthy fats, refined carbs, and insane levels of sodium. This combination is incredibly hard on your digestive system. It slows everything down, promotes water retention, and provides a feast for the gaseous bacteria in your gut. This is why you can feel fine 1 minute, eat one of these meals, and an hour later feel heavy, sluggish, and painfully bloated. The ultimate solution, the most powerful change you can make for a flatter stomach and better health, is to shift your diet away from these processed foods and towards whole, single-ingredient foods. It's about cooking at home where you control what goes in. It's about building a plate with lean proteins, healthy fats, and plenty of gut-friendly vegetables. So, we've counted down the top 10. The main takeaway should be crystal clear. Bloating is usually not a mystery. It's a direct response to what you're putting in your body. By becoming aware of these common triggers, you can start connecting the dots and figuring out your personal sensitivities. But let's not just focus on what to avoid. To wrap up on a positive, proactive note, here are 3 of the absolute best anti-bloat foods you can add to your diet to actively calm your stomach. First up, ginger. Ginger contains a compound called gingerol, which is known to help speed up stomach emptying. When food just sits there, it can cause indigestion and bloating. Ginger helps get things moving. A warm cup of ginger tea after a meal can feel amazing. Second, peppermint. Peppermint is a natural antispasmodic, which is a fancy way of saying it helps relax the muscles of your gut. This can relieve the cramping that comes with bloating and allow trapped gas to pass more easily. Peppermint tea is a fantastic choice. And third, tropical fruits like pineapple and papaya. These fruits contain natural digestive enzymes. Pineapple has bromelain, and papaya has papain. These enzymes help your body break down proteins more efficiently, which helps the whole digestive process and can reduce discomfort. That's the rundown. The top 10 foods most likely causing that tight, puffy feeling, and more importantly, the simple swaps you can make to find relief. Remember, this isn't about creating a long list of forbidden foods. It's about empowerment. It's about understanding how your body works and making mindful choices that help you feel incredible. The goal is to improve your quality of life, one delicious, bloat-free meal at a time. A little bit of knowledge and a few smart swaps can be the secret to a calmer, happier stomach. We'd love to build a supportive community right here in the comments. What's your number 1 trigger for bloating? Is it on our list or something else entirely? Share it down below. Your experience could be the aha moment that helps someone else connect the dots. Thank you so much for watching. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We have so many more videos coming with simple, actionable tips to help you live a healthier, more vibrant life, and we don't want you to miss a thing. We'll see you in the next one.